Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. And thanks for joining us for what promises to be an incredible and impactful evening. Please grab something to eat and drink, get comfortable, settle in, and we'll be getting started in just a few moments. Until then, enjoy the music, and please note our sponsors. A big thank you to them, and also thanks to the 70x7 Board of Directors and Advisory Council, who helped to make this wonderful night possible. Again, enjoy this original music now from Ed Sheaf, and we'll see you again in just a few minutes to get the program started. Well, thanks to Ed Sheaf for that incredible original music, sharing his talents with us tonight. Very relaxing and melodic. We really enjoyed that, Ed. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Janice Allen, and some of you may know me from Fox 17 News, but I am happy to have a night away from the anchor desk to share this special evening with all of you. 2020, what a year it has been. We have all been challenged to look past fear and see the countless doors that God is waiting for us to walk through. 70x7's anxiety at reimagining this event quickly turned to peace. You know, there are a lot of positives to this whole virtual experience. Since you're all joining us from your screens, capacity wasn't an issue, and 70x7 was free to invite everyone to participate in the special evening of victories, updates, and growth. You will see the challenges those coming home face, the experiences of family members, and how the church can embrace their fear. Just a reminder, the online auction is up and running until 9 o'clock this evening, so you will have plenty of time to finish up your bidding and snag all the items you want once the program has ended, I promise. We want to start tonight with a word of prayer. Joining us for that important job is a man that I know pretty well, a man that needs no introduction, at least to me, my husband, the Director of Mentoring and Training with 70x7, Mr. Antoine Brown.
Thank you, Janice. Under the leadership of Ben Rosa and our Grand Rapids Program Office, I am extremely grateful that I get to spend valuable time with those that come through our doors. Many come through full of pain, many come through full of confusion, all come through looking for hope. That hope that we work collectively to restore both in Holland and in Grand Rapids is only possible with your full support. All of us know someone that has battled with recovery and that has struggled with the systems of incarceration. We need to be there to support them. Tonight, we have a wonderful opportunity to make sure that those that are coming through the doors today and those that will come through the doors in the future at 70x7 have the best possibility of being freed for life. Let's go to our Lord and Savior in prayer. Oh, most gracious God, we thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. We thank you for this evening that you have put before us. We thank you for 70x7. We thank you for our board of directors, for our leadership team, for our staff. We ask that you would continue to guide our steps, that you would continue to pave the way for the wonderful work that you have called each and every one of us to do. God, right now, under the sound of my voice, I'd ask that you would bless each and every person that is given to our organization and those that plan to give graciously tonight in your name so that your work may continue to be done in miraculous ways. We know, Lord, that with all we're going through today in this world, you are still in the business of blessings. So tonight, we ask that you would provide health, safety, and that you would open up the windows of heaven and bless each and every person that is going to support 70x7 and that has taken the time to join us on this momentous evening. In your name we pray, amen. Thank you so much. And now we'll hear from our CEO at 70x7, Mr. Tim Koning.
I want to thank you for spending your evening with us, and I want to thank you for your support of 70x7 Life Recovery. Your support has made a big difference this year, and I'm very excited to share what we've been doing and where we're going. Our country is faced into a lot of turmoil this year, both because of the virus and because of the growing awakening to problems of race and justice. There have been calls for solutions to systemic racism, and that is a place where 70x7 Life Recovery has been working for more than a decade. 70x7 has been providing structural solutions to the problems caused by mass incarceration and its disparate impact on people of color. In the last 20 years, we have imprisoned a huge number of people, many of them people with black or brown skin. Releasing people from prison or jail is not enough to put them on a positive trajectory. A get-out-of-jail-free card does not put a life back together. That is where 70x7 comes in with mentoring, relationship, and training, as well as solutions to finding employment, finding housing, figuring out a positive path forward. This type of structural intervention into the system makes a huge difference. In the federal system, more than 50% of people return to prison within 3 years. In Michigan, we've done extremely well, and we're down to 26.7%, one of the best states in the country. For people that complete the 70x7 program, however, less than 4% go back to prison. Frankly, we can tell that things have changed, particularly in Ottawa County. The impact of 70x7, as well as improvements in sentencing alternatives, have shifted the incarceration landscape. That doesn't mean we stop. That means we build on our success and expand like we're doing in Kent County to help in the rest of the state and beyond. 70x7 is also a place where recently incarcerated people and law enforcement officers come together for positive interaction. The local police visit every class, and people who were in prison or jail a few weeks ago, along with beat cops, have candid, respectful, but often very challenging questions for each other. They break down walls of misunderstanding and stereotype. That interaction alone can be life-changing for both groups. Because of your support, we were able to adapt to the spring shutdown by providing remote support for returning citizens. And we were able to promptly reopen our facilities with proper safety practices to serve people as soon as we were allowed. During the shutdown, we communicated with returning citizens over the phone, directing them to community partners for food and clothing. Fortunately, before the shutdown, 70x7 had started its housing program to find affordable, safe housing for returning citizens. That resource was invaluable to help people find safe housing during the peak of the crisis. We now have 6 housing units in Holland and 7 units in Grand Rapids. We are able to do this with the same economy as our employment program. We do not need to own houses to integrate returning citizens into mainstream housing opportunities, and we do not need to own factories to integrate them into mainstream employment. We partner with people in those businesses that own houses, that own factories, and we provide the missing pieces of trust, vetting, and coaching to help returning citizens succeed with their housing and employment opportunities. The crisis has also pushed us to find new solutions. We have begun to experiment with distance learning for our Changes class, which is opening up opportunities for us to expand geographically. It has also accelerated our church partnership initiatives. In the last 6 months, we have added 24 church partners that want to engage 70x7 programming. 2 of these churches are outside West Michigan, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Rochester, New York. We are helping these churches build a framework for a biblical approach to justice, and we are helping them meet the needs of returning citizens and families in their congregations and neighborhoods. This coming year, we're planning to continue our geographic expansion to bring solutions to other cities. We plan to invest in our network of churches and expand that network because in the context of the local church, people meet Jesus Christ, and He is the source of all true life change. Thanks again for your support of 70x7 Life Recovery. You are part of changing the world for good. Thank you, and God bless you.
And thank you so much, Tim, for that important overview of the work that 70x7 is doing in our community. Now, we want to give you a glimpse inside the mind of somebody who is being released from prison, their very first steps outside, the uncertainties, and all of the questions that returning citizens may have. Watch this.
My fear was going back to a place where I spent majority of my teens at, which was prison. That was my biggest fear. The challenge was to stay out. That was my biggest challenge. Stay free.
We screwed up and committed crimes and did bad things, but like, what are we supposed to do now?
The biggest thing that I was thinking is, where do I fit in? Where do I fit in the grand scheme of all of this stuff?
When I got out, I was just flooded with all kinds of feelings, emotions, and, what do you do? Where do you go? What's next?
are so many questions, and fortunately 70 times 7 is able to provide many of the answers, changing the path forward for so many people in our community. Tonight, you are about to see how 70 times 7 is impacting our community, restoring lives, creating hope and change for returning citizens. In their own words, these are their stories.
I wouldn't get mad at those who doubt me, who doubted any of us, because for a long time I doubted myself. I wouldn't say I was hopeless, but I needed my hope raised. You know, they gave me hope. They gave me my ambition. They made me feel like I could do it again. 70 times 7 showed me how to put value and substance to my life. The staff there are so genuine. You know, when you're looking for change and you want help, you want to see that look in the helper's eyes that gives you comfort, that lets you know, this is real. I'm not doing this for a paycheck. I'm doing this because you want to change and I want to see you change. If all you value is the streets and the money, it's nothing to lose it because you can get it right back. A family, a wife, children, a home, a business, you can't get that back. And that's what I did through the help of 70 times 7. So they showed me how to put value and substance into my life again.
In order for me to move on in life, I have to ask God to forgive me for my sins. But family, my children, I try to install in them to be better than me, to be righteous and to respect others and just basically live right. I can honestly say without without God, things that I have or things that I had done wouldn't be possible. And then 70 times 7. The things that I have accomplished through 70 times 7 wouldn't be possible without 70 times 7. The blessings that I have received, or the blessings that I'm given as well, wouldn't be without 70 times 7. So it's an honor, truly an honor.
We heard Willie and Naka there touching on certain themes that you'll hear over and over again throughout this night. Getting their hope back, adding value and substance back to their lives, forgiveness and moving forward. Those are the things that you will hear throughout the evening from these stories of hope and redemption. This next video addresses the big question of, where am I going to live? Imagine not knowing where or if you'll have a roof over your head, a place to stay at night. As Tim mentioned, housing is one of the most critical needs for returning citizens to have. And 70 times 7 is fortunate to have Community Connections, a network of local landlords and business owners who are working together on a solution to the affordable housing crisis for returning citizens. Here's Amalia's story.
I went to prison for a decade. I came home and couldn't find anywhere to live. I went away really young, and when I came home, I didn't know how to drive, didn't know so many basic fundamentals of life. And the mentor that they paired me with was able to teach me basically everything. I didn't realize how hard it would be. I didn't understand how to pay bills, how to budget, that some things come first. I definitely like makeup, like shoes, but I also like having electricity, like having my rent paid. Those are not things that I would have known had it not been for Carol helping me budget. I was interviewed and also invited to join the board of directors. And throughout those meetings, we kind of talked about everything that they do provide. But I did let them know, there was nothing to help people coming home. You are helping us get jobs, and then we have this money, and nobody will let us live in their houses. A lot of landlords will not rent to felons and will not rent to people who did long indeterminate sentences. I would like it to be that people can come home and know they are not lost. There are people that will help you, that do not want anything from you in return. Here, they don't want anything from you but to do your best. You really just have to show up.
It is amazing to see how Amalia has turned her life around, now serving on the board of directors. That is very impressive. And also I have to say, she's a girl after my own heart. I like makeup and shoes too, but I'm sure my husband would agree with her that yes, budgeting is very important. If you are fortunate enough to have family members on this journey with you, they are often right there also being impacted as you navigate returning home. What do they say and how can they help? Do you let them in or do you push them away? This next video introduces us to Lori and shows the power of a mother's love, a woman who refused to give up on her son. Lori is a part of the Stronger Together program, a family support program that started in 2019 to eliminate guilt and help families like Lori's heal, giving them hope and strength to also then help their loved ones.
My son, Brad, he went in when he was 16 and shortly after that turned 17, and he was sentenced to 15 years. I feel my job as his mother is to love him. He was apologizing for something he had done, and I said, honey, we all make mistakes, it's just part of life. And I said, if we could do it over, we'd do it different. And he looked at me and he was very quiet and he said, like I'd be a do-over, huh, Mom? And it broke my heart, but also it made me very happy that he dared tell me that he felt that way, that he didn't just keep that thought to himself, even though you're not supposed to touch at visits. I grabbed his hands and I just said, oh, God gave you to me for a reason. He doesn't make mistakes. And I love you the way you are, and you would never, ever be a do-over. I wrote him the longest letter of all the things I love about him. And I continue to do that because I think it's so important that he knows that. You don't have people hug you when you're in prison. You don't have anybody that cares about you. And I want him to know that I love him no matter what he does.
How emotional. Had to be absolutely heart-wrenching for Lori to hear those words, her son asking if he would be a do-over. Any parent out there, I'm sure, can also understand how tough of a conversation that would be to have. We applaud Lori for her strength and also her love, supporting her son as he continues to work forward to change his life. After you have figured out housing and where you're going to live, then you have to start thinking about how you're going to pay for that roof over your head, right? And that is where 70x7 comes in with skills training through their Changes class, job placement, mentoring, like we heard from Amalia, getting help with her budget, and continued support, working with employers and individuals to eliminate any barriers that may come from having to check that box on the job application.
I just prayed to God. It's like, give me a passion, because if this is it, there's got to be more to life than this. And then the whole prison thing came up, and going into prison and volunteering and helping people who get out of prison try to get decent employment. That's my passion.
The job was a big concern, where I was going to live at and what I was going to do for a job. I worked at 3 of the churches that were doing it at the time. I did that for 3 months, and then they sent me on my way to Premier Finishing.
We're a small company. There's about 30 of us, so about 2/3 of our workforce have been incarcerated. There's a lot of going against them when they get out, employment being one of them. I guess we want to break down those barriers, because for somebody who the light bulb went off in prison, like, I don't want to do this again. I'm going to do something different with my life. We want those people to be a part of our team.
First starting off at Premier, always saying thank you for the job and the opportunity, And Andy's always, oh, don't worry about it. We're way past that.
So Eric came to Premier Finishing, I think, about 10 years ago or so. Something unique about Eric, I mean, he's a very, very bright individual. We're constantly challenging ourselves. That's just in the DNA of our company, is how can we do this better? So Eric fit right into that.
I got to do maintenance on the machines and end up fabricating different racks and stuff for the lines, and that's the kind of stuff I enjoy. Always looking for improvements, how to rack parts. Always gave the suggestions to Andy, and he always listens. Andy has always treated us great, always an open door. If I walk up to the door, hi Eric, how's it going? You know, what's new, or somebody to talk to, and always has an ear to listen. Always supportive of what we do in work and out of work. The stability of having a job is having a home, just be able to support my family. Been married for 8 years now, and 3 grandchildren and 3 children. Always working on making things better with them. It's all from Premier Finishing, allowing us to have that security.
For me, justice is served when somebody has committed a crime, that they go to prison, but then they come out and they not only prove that they can do better, but they also help people, and Eric is one of those people. I find out stuff that Eric does all the time, and it's just amazing. I mean, he's just a humble guy. He's a good family member, he's a good husband, he's a good father, he's all that stuff. Once he got out, there was no looking back, so he was moving forward. That's Eric. He's a great guy to work with.
Just set my goals and go after them.
For me, freed means that these people are freed to be the people that God created them to be. I think that's my job. We need to free them from the junk of their past life so that they can move on and again, give back. I mean, to me, it's the whole cycle of justice. Somebody offends and fixes themselves and then gives back to others. They're free to not only be the person that they're supposed to be, but then to help others do that same thing.
Right there, that is the goal. Thanks to companies like Premier Finishing for giving so many a chance at employment, a second chance. The security that we know that a good job provides, helping workers like Eric move forward with their lives. Now at this point, you are truly starting over again, trying to have a new life, and you want to have new friends to help lead you down the right path this time. You can't go back to old friends and acquaintances who may have had a negative impact on you to begin with. 70 times 7 helps everyone who comes in the door understand the importance of changing PPT. That is people, places, and things. So when you think about who am I going to talk to, listen to Antonio as he answers that question.
I didn't know what it meant to be a man. I had my idea. My dad passed when I was 5. He was 27, alcoholic, walking down the highway, truck ran him down. But died an alcoholic, his dad. Coming through 70 times 7, they're talking about that freedom for life. To me, it's freedom for a cycle change. My kid's growing up with the father. When I got locked up, my son was 5, same age I was when my dad died. And my youngest was just born. I ended up with 2 to 20 for assault and drugs, alcohol. So I seen that cycle. When I came to 70 times 7, this mentorship program, they teamed me up with this guy, and we are still friends today, after 11 years. But to talk to somebody that just wanted to talk to me without strings attached, to understand what I was going through, helped me grow, and to see his life and how I wanted to raise my kids. So before, my aspect of a man was just to be tougher than someone else, rise above. But today it's about caring about others, being able to show my boys when it's right to be strong and when it's right to be soft, to be able to talk to other people and have compassion. That's something I never had, and it helps me to pursue the life I want today.
Kudos to Antonio on breaking that cycle. We know that his kids' lives will be forever changed because of the hard work that he's putting in right now to be the best dad that he can be. We have all had troubles in this life, and you probably have felt like, why me? Or what's going on, God? I know I have. I'm sure many of you at home have been there at one time or another as well. Wondering, where is God in all of this? But that is where our hope and faith can carry us to new levels, helping us to achieve things that we could never achieve on our own.
You get locked up at 16, your whole life is prison, that's all you know. Prison was where I thought my life was gonna end up. Doing 3 life sentences, who gets out off of 3 life sentences? It was always my hope that one day I would maybe see outside of prison one day, and I never knew how long that would be. I knew that that was something I wanted, and I knew living the prison lifestyle wasn't gonna get me there. There had to be a change in me, and I knew that change had to begin with me.
I do think a lot of people coming out of prison are asking that question, where's God in all this? And I think they're also asking the question, along with that, am I too far gone? Is God mad at me? Is God gonna come back to get me? Just filled with a lot of shame and condemnation. So I think that's when people are asking the question, where is God? I think 7x7 provides the bridge for that question to be answered. I think it's through the relationships. And it's through the intentional connecting of people with those that are coming out of prison through the program to those that follow Jesus, then into the life of the church.
Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and I know there's no stopping me in what I can accomplish through God. I try to put Him first before everything. And again, sometimes I fall short. I know I do. I mean, who doesn't, right? No matter how many times I fall, when I come back up and I'm like, hey, I messed up. He's like, son, that's all right. Come on, let's go. I got something better for you.
I think one of the things that 7x7 does is invites people to be freed for life. The way that they do it is beyond just being freed from prison, beyond just being freed from an addiction. It's introducing them to the one who brings freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And the freedom comes from being freed from the old life truly, by being born again into new life, where the old is gone and the new has come. And through a gentle, compassionate, tender way, 7x7 gives people an opportunity to be introduced to the one who brings true freedom, lasting freedom, where there's not temporary freedom from a situation, but there's freedom for eternity.
And that is powerful, knowing that God is working even as we fall over and over again. Even as we face difficulties and challenges, we know that He is working, even though we don't understand why. We heard Pastor Britton there touch on freedom, a true freedom for eternity. And the theme for tonight is freed for life. And if you think about it, we really all have our own freed statements. We've all been freed to be obedient to God, to live, to inspire, to change, to help others. And as Mary Beth will touch on shortly, freed to give. Think about that. What is your freed statement? Take a listen to what 70x7 participants had to say about theirs.
In the past, I was nothing but train wreck after train wreck, plane crash after plane crash with my whole life. And now I get to build a positive legacy. I can build something for posterity, for people to say, hey, look, this guy was a scoundrel. This guy was way out in left field, beyond the stadium. And now look at him. He's doing everything he possibly can to stay right down the middle of the road and not let anything pull him off his track. People will be able to say, in the future, look at what good he did, because other people cared about him.
Free to believe that anything is possible. You just gotta put your mind to it and believe in God and continue to work on it.
I'm free to stay home. To build a home, anybody can have a house. When I say build a home, I mean stability, a foundation, love, comfort, home. I think I just lived in the houses my whole life. And I finally found a home.
I am free to be happy. I don't have to dwell on my past and assume that bad things are gonna come to me because of the bad things that I've done before. I deserve a really good life. When I see other people and see how they're living, I deserve that too.
Freedom to forgive. I think that's powerful. It was freeing for me to get rid of those bitter feelings and to have that forgiveness.
For me, freed means that these people are freed to be the people that they are, that God created them to be.
I'm free to look forward to my future and my goals, and I go to achieve them.
Coming through 70 times 7, they're talking about that freedom for life. To me, it's freedom for a cycle change. My kid's growing up with the Father. You know, that freedom is a new beginning. It's like starting another life.
Free to live, free to be a blessing. I have the opportunity to work with youth and other people that come out of prison and to help them and steer them in the right direction.
I'm Brandy Spaniola, and I started 70 times 7 and been free since December 4th, 2015. I'm free to be a functioning member of society. I'm free to work. I am free to take care of my kids. I'm free to show up for anything. I'm free to not have any secrets today, and that's priceless to me. I'm free to live. I'm freed. I've been freed to break the cycle. I have continued to break the cycle from coming from a parent who's an addict. I'm free to be there for my kids. My son, he tells me all the time, Mom, I'm glad you changed your life. I'm glad you made those changes, and I'm glad that I'm here with you just by doing the next right thing, by showing up. Like, I'm not a prisoner anymore to addiction, to anything. I'm free.
Hearing those words from her son, wow, that had to be priceless. Willie said, free to believe anything is possible, and I would add, free to be who you were meant to be. As we've been saying, freed for life. Joining us now is the Donor Relations Manager for 70 times 7. I'd like to introduce Mary Beth Sims.
Thank you, Janice. Good evening, friends. Tonight, you have heard remarkable stories of people who received hope, opportunity, and a deepened faith, not only because of their relationship with 70 times 7 Life Recovery, but also your relationship with 70 times 7. What you have not heard is how they learned to be freed to give. Brandy started a Narcotics Anonymous women's meeting. Amalia and Antonio created a Facebook birthday fundraiser with proceeds going to 70 times 7. Naka is a motivational speaker for his ministry, Staying Home. Michael volunteers for the CLEAR program and Escape Ministries. Eric drove a coworker to the job every day for 2 years. As a licensed plumber, Antonio donates his skills to those in need. He is also a volunteer for CLEAR and a mentor for 70 times 7. And Willie is also a mentor for 70 times 7. And the man in the video, reenacting getting out of prison. 9 years ago, I sat next to him at a fundraiser for the mission. 6 months prior to that, he was in a penitentiary. As the program ended and the ask began, I watched as he reached into his pocket and pulled out his new wallet, and it was so new it creaked when he opened it. He pulled out a single check, and as he was filling it out, a tear landed on that check. It took my breath away, and I get choked up to this day. Because of 70 times 7 and the example set forth by staff, volunteers, and supporters, they know what it feels like to be freed to give. And that feeling is joy. Tonight, your joy can be multiplied as a generous donor has pledged a $100,000 matching fund. As you will see on the screen, there are 3 ways to donate. Use our text to give service on our website, you can click on the link, or by check, which can be mailed to 97 West 22nd Street, Holland 49423. Oh, and the gentleman from the video, he is a selfless volunteer, a mentor for 70 times 7, and in December we will celebrate our 8th wedding anniversary. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us.
Thank you, Mary Beth. And I love hearing that story about your happy ending. Congratulations on almost 8 years. What a night we have had here. I hope you've all enjoyed out there watching from your homes or your offices. We'd like to thank our generous sponsors once again and all of you for taking the time to spend your evening with us. Remember, the auction is still open and running until 9 o'clock tonight. And if you'd like to share this evening with your friends and family, it will be posted on the website here very shortly. And if you know someone who could benefit from 70 times 7 and its services, we are waiting to help them. Thank you so much for watching and have a blessed evening.
Thank you.